Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Isabelle and this is my small YouTube podcast that I bring you from France. So please forgive my accent. I used to be fluent and live in the United States, but that was 30 years ago. So my English is a bit less fluent right now, but I hope it will improve. And doing this podcast in English is one of my goals, to have me practice talking in English. So this small YouTube podcast is to present you with my knitting adventures, but also every other week, and this is gonna be one of these podcasts, the woolly news that I have collected for about a couple weeks. What has caught my attention, what has caught my eye, and what is of some interest to me. And if this is of some interest to you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new podcast. So we can start now in the Woolly News. That is the third issue of my Woolly News podcast. So the first news that I have, or that has caught my attention, and I have my notes in front of me so that I don't forget anything. And I also have, and I will link it down below, a blog post, a companion blog post, where I always fill the description box below the video, but I also have a companion blog post where I put all my notes, pictures, and maybe a bit more if I forget to talk about during the recording. So the first news is Rastus, who is a knitter and a knitting designer from Taiwan. Rastus has released a pattern a few days or weeks ago that I found very, very interesting and has caught my eye. It's a pattern that looks like folded paper. Rastus has a YouTube channel, all in Mandarin, because he's from Taiwan. And he has also a Ravelry store. He has an Instagram account where he has a very discreet and lovely presence. So I've always been very interested into his patterns, and this one in particular really caught my attention. I'm not sure I will knit it in the color it is presented. It's in some kind of a warm, darker yellow with some kind of brown and ochre tones that are not quite much my own color preferences. But the pattern itself is very interesting in that it resembles a lot of, it's very close to the folding paper traditions people have in Asia. Rastus, I discovered him by browsing Instagram or some kind of suggestion, and Christy Glass had an episode with him on her own podcast. I will link everything down below. That I watched when it came out. I think it was a year ago or something like that. And it even made me more interested into his work. So as I like very much textures in knitting, I think I will put it in my future whips. Even though right now, and since I've started this small YouTube channel, my whip or future queue and the future patterns I want to knit has grown exponentially. Anyway, I really love it, and I think you should have a look at it because it's a very, very interesting pattern. Another very interesting pattern, and it's a bit linked to another topic I'm going to talk about a bit later. It's Amirushi shop. It's a store in Japan where you can buy yarn and other notions about knitting and crocheting. They ship internationally. If you are ever interested, I will link their websites and other accounts on Instagram, for example, and Ravelry. So they have released a pattern for a sweater, a striped pattern, and I don't knit many stripes because I'm not sure it will fit me. But anyway, when you knit stripes in the round, you have some jog between when you finish, as it's an helical. You knit as a helical when you knit in the round. So once you've done one round, so next round, your next stitch is going to be a bit above the first one from the same round, and if you're changing colors, it's gonna show. So there are several ways to minimize these jogs when you knit in the round, or you can embrace it and keep them, whatever fits you. But in this pattern, the jogs are very obvious. They are made obvious because the colors when you knit don't match. There is a jog when one dark color, when it's in the round, the matching color on the next round is a clear stripe. And I thought it was very interesting because if you are bothered by jogs, make them very obvious over several rows and everything. So it's presented in some kind of fall color. I'm not sure it's a dark blue or a dark brown or even a black, but it's a dark color. I think it's black, but I'm not sure from the picture, with some kind of pumpkin color and darker orange color. So quite, fall colors. And the stripes and jogs are all not matching from a round to the other, and it's made on purpose. So if jogs in stripes bother you, maybe make them obvious. So this is why I thought this pattern was very interesting, and a clever construction, and the bottom, the ribbed bottom of the sweater do not match either. So there is also a jog in the bottom ribbed portion. So it's quite interesting, and have a look, and you can decide for yourself, of course. So there is another pattern that has caught my attention, and it's Shivan is gonna be releasing several patterns as a club. So it's Candle Knits. Also, I will also link down below all her credentials. She has released one pattern that she has shown. It's the Midnight Sun pattern. So I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. So you're gonna go to her YouTube channel, so you have the proper pronunciation. So Midnight Sol, as she's from Sweden, and so she has released this pattern. She has spent a long time during this summertime in Trondheim. And as a side story, I went there a couple years ago, before this big panini we are in, a couple years ago with my university, because we have an exchange program for students and we work with them. So I went there for 10 days, I think. And when she's posted picture from Trondheim, I remembered I had been to the places she's shown, and was very fond memory. So I think it's why it really caught my attention, even if I'm following her on her YouTube channel for quite a bit of time. So this shawl is a very big shawl, and the club, when you join, there are 4 other patterns that are not known for now. It's mystery patterns. I think it's a color work. I will put all the details. I'm not sure I have written that down for myself. I should have. So the club is called the Machimachi Accessory Club. So the 4 mystery patterns shawls, those 4 mystery shawls, are gonna be matching one to another in the color work. So you buy the club and you will have a pattern that will come up about every 3 weeks, so she said. So you have a collection at the end of 5 patterns for 5 shawls. So I like her work. I haven't knitted yet anything from her productions, but I think, you know, I'm always looking at what she makes, and I enjoy very much what she makes and her patterns. I like her neckline constructions and puffy sleeves when she has a few sweaters with puffy sleeves, and I like that. So you know, you should check her out and maybe get the club pattern, the Machimachi Club, Accessory Club, and you will have up to the beginning and maybe a bit further down the winter time, you will have 4 shawls to knit. So this is going to be now a new section I had not talked about in the previous Woolly News release. It's something I'd like to dedicate to trends, or trends that I see. I talked about in my previous podcast about all the yellow I was seeing around. There was another thing, because yellow is, you know, it caught me, but I want to knit something for myself. Another trend I saw quite a bit lately, maybe I'm mistaken, maybe it's been around all that time and I was not seeing it, is stripes. Stripes for sweaters, for shawls, not only cardigans, not only for socks, because you have striped socks. You have many patterns for striped socks, whether you do the stripes yourself as a color work or you have a self-striping ball of yarn. But stripes for garment, I have seen them quite a bit recently, and yellow stripes. So I'm going to be putting pictures of what I've seen, whether they are shawls or sweaters or cardigans. And I think that there is right now, or there has been a few weeks back, a trend about stripes for garments such as sweaters and shawls or cardigans. I'm not much. I have not knitted striped sweater for myself, for example, or cardigan. I'm not sure it would fit me. Maybe I should try vertical stripes rather than horizontal stripes. But anyway, I thought that trend was quite interesting to have a look at if you like striped garments. Now I'm gonna move to another section that is regarding some local yarn stores or yarn companies, some news that I've seen. I think the 2 news I have regarding that are from yarn stores and mills and companies that are located in France. So if you are interested, or if you ever come to France, or if you live in France, and maybe you will be interested in that. So Fonty, Fonty, Fonty is a quite an ancient company, a yarn mill that was started over 130 years ago. They are located in the center of France, and one day I would like, during a vacation or some kind of a trip, if I ever can have some time to do it, I would like to tour France or even Europe and go visit all the yarn stores and mills and companies that I have seen online, and maybe I have talked about right now. The same way I went to visit the small mohair farm in Olon in the Pyrenees, and I will put the card here with the podcast I made around this little farm. Anyway, Fonty is in the center of France, and it's a very old company that produces yarn from the local sheep's breeds. And they have been recognized as a national treasure with some kind of a label we have in France. So it's a way to recognize the importance of these traditions and this company. So they are launching this fall a new line that is called 1880, so I think it's their creation date. So the yarn is from the local sheep breeds, the local sheep's flocks, and they have a fair trade and environmental friendly guidelines. So this is why I'm quite interested in following them and looking at what they are doing, and I've had my eye on their yarn for quite a bit of time. I haven't bought anything yet because, you know, the idea of their yarn and the pattern haven't matched into my head. So for now I'm just waiting for the proper pattern and the proper inspiration. But anyway, I will buy from them, and I really hope I will visit them at some point, and I will also leave down below all their credentials. And if you want to follow them, they have a newsletter, so they publish quite regularly news about their company, and they have very interesting yarns. Another company that is located in Normandy is Laine West, so Western Yarn. So they are offering, of course, yarn from local ships from Normandy breeds, and also they have environmentally conscious projects, so that's why also I'm interested in following what they are doing, and at some point I hope also to visit them and buy some yarn from them. So they said that they are offering all their waste yarn from their mill to give to people, maybe sell, I'm not sure, but you have to go there with your truck or a big car to get a big bowl or big bowls of huge bowls of waste yarn, so that you can put in your garden to protect the bushes and the plants during the winter time. And you can reuse it from year to year, as the yarn decay very slowly, so you can reuse it. You remove it at the end of the winter, and you can put it back for the next winter and protect all your plants in your garden. I had never heard of that use of yarn. I think it's very interesting to be in that circular economy where we minimize waste and we make use of all the waste we produce. And maybe one day I will go there to buy some of their yarn and get some of this to protect the plants in my garden for the winter time. So there is another yarn company I've been interested in is Laine Paysanne. I'm waiting on some yarn. They had a collaboration with Hall, who is a company who designed some colorways for some of their yarn. So I bought it. It was before this last summer, so maybe June or early July, and they are making it. They are producing it, and it's supposed to be shipped. I don't recall, maybe September, maybe October. So it's gonna come to me at some point, and I will show you when I get it, and I will show you what I want to make with it. I want to make a sweater in a colorway with some of the yarn from my stash. So Laine Paysanne is going to an event in Lyon at the beginning of October. It's October 2nd and 3rd. So I won't be able to attend because Lyon is too far away from me, and I'm full-time teaching again, so I won't have time. I won't be able to make time to go there. But if you are in the area, there is a knitting event where they will be, and I will very much like to go to a knitting event. I have never been. Of course, we have been in lockdown for a long time in France, so we're out of lockdown, and news say that the fourth wave of the global pandemic is lowering right now in France. So I hope we can go back to some kind of a normal life, or as normal as possible, with all the mask and all the social distance that it is. We have to actively use and be in, so that we minimize the contamination rates. But anyway, if there was some kind of crafts event close to me, I would go. There is one that is not too far away that will happen next weekend, but unfortunately next weekend I won't be able to go there. It's in Lessay. It's in southwest of Normandy, at the south or middle part of Manche department, but I won't be able to go because I have other plans, unfortunately, sorry. But anyway, I will also put the information in the description box. It's not a yarn event per se. It's more of a crafts and local crafts and tradition fair. So I will put the information down below. If I had been available this weekend, I would have tried to go there. Okay, so that's all for the events and shops and pattern information. One last information, one last news. I received my Laine magazine issue number 12. I think it's the issue number 12. Yes, it's the issue number 12. I have, maybe it's better that way, yes. I have subscribed for 3 issues, so 12, 13 and 14. And there are very interesting patterns in this issue, and as well as other articles about people and shops and things like that. I'm gonna show you the one that I think I will make at some point, and I have to get the yarn for it. It's the Skylight, yes. And I think this pattern, I don't want to ruin the binding. This pattern where you have cable work and long strands of yarn in between. is quite interesting and quite clever. I had never really seen anything like that. So you have here the detail on one of the sleeves. And here you have the pattern for the yoke. You can see better. So there are other patterns in this issue. They have last Friday, I think it was September 3rd, they released all the patterns previews on Ravelry on their website. So you will have many occasions to see the patterns around, but this one is very, it's the one that really caught my attention. There are other type of garments. For example, there is a little sweater, and if I have some mohair left of a project that I want to cast on, maybe if I have enough, I will make this one. Maybe not with the texture as with mohair. My mohair is very, very fluffy, so I may not use the pattern, the stitch pattern, but I maybe use the pattern for the garment itself. There are shawls and other article about people. So look at that. Look at that color work. And the wrist warmers, what is left from my Elvan shawl that I made, I think I want to make some kind of wrist warmer color work. I have to see if I have enough from what they recommend. I haven't looked yet, but I want to use the cocoon yarn that is left from my Elvan shawl to make something like that. I don't think I have enough for a call, but who knows, maybe I have to see. So now there are the patterns. So it's a very interesting issue. I'm very happy I bought 3 issues, so I will have a good look at it, and I will see, maybe I will continue to buy them. They are located in Finland, but you can find them all over the world in your local yarn shops, or you can buy from Finland. So if you are in Europe, you will only pay for shipping. There are no taxes, but if you are outside of Europe, you will have to pay taxes. So no, I liked very much the 52 weeks of shawls. I like what they produce, what they make. I like what they create. So I think I will continue to subscribe and buy their future productions. So, okay, so this is all for today. 28 minutes, it's okay, not too long. I will link also the companion blog post that I have on my blog, so that you have some other pictures and what I've written, what were my thoughts that I've collected beforehand, before filming this portion, this episode. So I will link it down below. And I thank you very much for watching. I thank you for being here with me for this, small half hour of your life to listen to me, my ramblings and my very bad accent. I'm quite sorry about my accent and my hesitations. Thank you for subscribing if you're interested in, knowing what I'm gonna post in the future. So my goal is to have 1 week the Woolly News, and the next week my own podcast about my own projects. As I'm teaching full-time right now, again, I'm not sure I will have time to arrange to film during the day. I will have time to film at night, but at night I don't have the equipment to have lights, so I should maybe buy lights so that I can, record and the video during the night. But for now I try to record during the day. and I'm not sure I will have enough time during the week, during the day, to record. And if I want to have time to edit the video, I'm trying to post on Fridays. So I'm not sure how I will arrange my schedule around that. I'd be happy if you subscribe so that you are notified whenever I post a new video, a new podcast. And I hope you are happy with your knitting. I hope it brings you as much joy as it brings to me. And I will see you in my next episode. Happy knitting!